Megamind is better than you remember, and here's why. Hey there, this is your Matt Doodle, Too Much Time on His Hands, Doodle here with another video. And today, I want to talk about the glorious film that is Megamind.
Megamind, incredibly handsome criminal genius and master of all villainy.
And mainly it's because of the fact that this movie was so ahead of its time. They put in so much dedication, and it got beat out of by Despicable Me. Good movie, but in my opinion, I think this is better. And I just want to talk about why I love this film so much, and what stuff I didn't know as a kid that later on you look back and I'm like, oh my god, I see what they were doing, and that's for the adults who watch with their kids. I'm like, dang. Because, okay, as a kid, I didn't know anything about the tropes that they would play with or the things they would make fun of. But as a kid, those were just things that were happening in the film. But getting older, it became something different. It became a fun poke at these characters and the trope. But you know why I love this movie so much too? It doesn't treat it like trash. It doesn't make fun in like the worst way. It actually has fun with the material. It says, yes, we are aware of how goofy superheroes are, but they do it in a way where it's fun and engaging, unlike in like The Boys and Watchmen and like shows like that, or movies. I'm not really a fan of when things get too cynical to the point where like you're just watching power for the sake of power with no actual substance. And what's interesting about this film is it got beat out by Me, but I feel like it has so much to it. It was ahead of its time for it. Because a lot of the tropes that they have in this film are things that weren't really considered mainstream. They were more for comic people, if you really think about it. The tropes were in certain films, but they weren't as popular. Yes, we had Iron Man out already. We had the Hulk out. But I think that's about it. We didn't get the Avengers yet. It wasn't that big yet of superhero knowledge. Like, the tropes weren't there. Yes, we had Christopher Reeve's Superman. Yes, we had some of Batman. But that's about it. And I know this is more of a parallel to Superman stuff than it really is to any superhero. But they still have like things like gadgets for Batman, you know, the story, everything. And the fact that the way that they're able to poke fun, like, I'm going to point some out. The joke about how he gets into Earth. They do a whole little, like, arc for him of not knowing what his destiny is. Even though it's clearly shown in the film itself. From when he's in his little tube, his little spaceship, his parents are about to say, you're destined for greatness, like most parents would say to their kids. But again, he doesn't hear it, and so he gets shot up in space. But it's funny because it's like, this implies in their world, they're supposed to move out by their babies, or at least that's what he thinks that the world is supposed to be, because I don't think Megamind got any like indication of how his family was, because we don't see him talking to his dead family. We just see that what he thinks his parents would want because of what happened when he was getting older. He was bullied. He was ridiculed. He was literally raised in a freaking prison. He was taught right was wrong and wrong was right. And he still ended up somewhat okay in the sense that he still was a supervillain that was trying to kill the superhero. And then there's Megamind, who is technically the unspoken hero villain, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't do anything as a bad guy, but it points out something that most hero stories don't really do, which is that what if you do gain abilities? What if you are born with abilities and you don't want to do anything with them? What if you just want to live your life?
Each and every citizen of Metro had something I didn't. A choice. Ever since I can remember, I've always had to be what the city wanted me to be. But what about what I wanted to do? Then it suddenly hit me. I do have a choice. I can be whatever I want to be. No one said this hero thing had to be a lifetime gig.
Yeah, he loves the fame. That's probably why he became a hero. He probably loves the attention because that's who he was raised by. Nature versus nurture. He was raised by people who just loved him conditionally with no added things. Like, his mom in this time always like, I love you so much. And the dad looked so dismissive. So I don't think they really had ever told him no. So when he got older, his everyone just saw that he has superpowers as a kid and said, you become our superhero. No question at all. You have to be our hero. And he never got a choice in that. So they point that out in this film, this 2010 film, that what if someone with abilities doesn't want to be a superhero? Is that selfish? Of course it is, because he has the ability to save people, and he chooses to fake his death to avoid that. And they point that out, that he's being selfish.
How did you do this? The people of the city relied on you and you deserted them. You left us in the hands of him. No offense.
No, I'm with you.
And that the villain has to rise up to be a hero because of his own mistake. He wanted to stay the villain because he was comfortable with that. He was comfortable with the fact that this was his entire life. Everyone expected him to be a bad guy, so he became that bad guy. But he would do it with fun. They had fun. The way they portrayed Megamind and Metro Man with their fighting styles and like how they would fight is like two brothers basically bickering or they're playing along.
In case you haven't noticed, you've fallen right into my trap.
You can't trap justice. It's an idea, a belief.
Even the most heartfelt belief can be corroded over time.
Justice is a non-corrosive metal.
But metals can be melted by the heat of revenge.
It's revenge, and it's best served cold.
But it can be easily reheated in the microwave of evil.
Well, I think your warranty is about to expire.
Maybe I got an extended warranty.
Warranties are invalid if you don't use the product for its intended purpose.
Oh, girls, you're both pretty. Can I go home now?
Like when Titans introduced an actual bad guy, someone who was literally an incel, someone who just expected what he got for being nice. If he didn't get what he wanted as a nice person, then what's the point of being nice? And then they have Roxanne Ritchie, which is supposed to be like the Lois Lane architect, being done with all the BS of being kidnapped, and she's just used to that. And you know why I find this funny? Because it shows that Megamind didn't even really harm her in reality, because even though he showed off all these like excessive ways of how he could hurt her, nothing ever happened. She's just kind of like, oh, this is a thing, this is a thing. So it shows that he never really wanted to be a bad guy. But then when Titan, Hal Stewart, love that name, parallel to Hal Jordan and John Stewart, Green Lanterns, when he gets the abilities and he ends up being a bad guy, even when Megamind was trying to teach him how to be a good guy, trying to be a good guy himself, because he was trying to impress her, because Megamind realized that after killing the hero, he had to have a disguise. He had to hide who he is as a person. He couldn't just reveal that, hey, this is me, because I literally ended a hero's life. But when he found actual positivity and goodness from someone who's treating him like a human being, in the sense, like, you know, like a good person, he doesn't want to be a bad guy. He was actually shown kindness. He was shown respect, honesty, being loved, basically, by basically the person he kidnapped so much, which is still weird in my case. So the fact that makes him want to be a good person, realizes that he has morals, even the nature versus nurture thing. What is it going on here? Megamind was nurtured to be a bad guy. Metro Man was nurtured to be a superhero, but like a narcissist superhero. Like, even his costume is supposed to be like Elvis. Like, you know, like, it's very showy. And then there's Minion. I know he doesn't really get that much, like, to say, because, you know, he's just supposed to be, like, the minion of Megamind. And Megamind has other robots that he makes. Like, Megamind is also a genius. But Minion is basically his caretaker. And because Minion was basically also, I think, like a baby when Megamind was a baby, he doesn't even know what he wants. But he's trying to take care of Megamind. And Megamind, after a while, just doesn't want him. But the way their interactions is so beautiful, because they act like actual family.
Now, back to laughing.
When then there's someone like Metro Man at the end, he just wants to be left alone. He doesn't want any of that. And Megamind has to learn to be a hero himself. And I want to explain one thing that I find really fascinating. In that moment when Megamind says he doesn't want to be a hero anymore, he says he wants to go home. But you know where that home is to him? The prison. It's not like his lair where he gets all these tools and all that stuff. No, it's where he knows home is, where he's been so often. Because he's been in prison since he was basically a baby. He wasn't given that choice. Which is also really weird to think about, because yes, he also broke out of the prison as a baby, but then he was also put back into it. You know, that still finds so super strange to me in general. But they bring in all these tropes and stereotypes and put it in a blender and mixes it all together. the villain becomes a hero, and the hero secludes himself. The supposedly hero's journey for someone else becomes the villain. He doesn't become a hero, the villain becomes the hero because of his own mistakes. But there's one thing I want to say. One thing that I love this film. I love this film so much. It revolutionized the idea of superheroes and the jokes about him. At the end, they make Megamind the hero of Metro City, or I guess Metro City, how it's actually said. I like Metro City better. But I don't think it was ever revealed that Metro Man was alive. Like, yes, they showed that little teaser that says, like, sorry, my friend, which is a parallel to the beginning of the film where one of Megamind's robots show up. But no. The guy didn't seem to recognize him, so do people probably still think that their best favorite hero is dead, and then just appoint this hero who was originally a villain for probably most of those people's lives is now just the person to save them just because they stopped them from like a lunatic, ending them all. And I get it, but still, it's like saying a war criminal gets leniency and becomes a hero because he stopped a terrorist or something, if that makes sense. Weird ending, but I get what they're doing. I think it would have just been better if they realized that Metro Man was alive, and then like they'd say that he's disowned because he literally did not want to be a hero. Still his choice, but makes sense. By the way that was shown of how Megamind and Metro Man talked, probably Metro Man knew that Megamind wasn't trying to be a hero, because in that sentence when he says,
little buddy, there's a yin for every yang. If there's bad, good will rise up against it. It's taken me a long time to find my calling. Now it's about time you find yours.
That means he genuinely cared about this person. The way they talked to each other was like siblings. It's so sweet, even then. But this movie never forgets to have fun with itself. It takes tropes that they have. They joke about like games, comics, shows, movies, and they have fun with all that. This movie was just so amazing as a kid, and it gets better the more you watch it. So, yeah. What did you think about this film? Did you like Megamind? Did this movie change your perception of time? Or did you just kind of think this movie was okay, and you thought that Despicable Me was better? And I would like to know that stuff in the comments down below. I read all your comments, and I'll respond to most of them, if you're respectful. And if you like this video, please, like it. And if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you can actually get notified when they actually come out. And if you want to be more involved in my videos, I make polls and posts of random stuff. And if you want to say hi or you just want to talk a little bit in there, that's fine. I actually like the community here. Thank you so much for everyone who watches my stuff. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, this has been Dynamite, and I hope to see everyone in the next video.